All right. Good morning, good evening, everyone. So I'm Dr. Jerica. Together with me is my colleague, Ms. Mylene Impang. So we'll be talking about enhancing emotional intelligence through social and emotional learning in the classroom. So to begin with, I'll give the floor to my colleague, Miss Mylene. Okay, Mylene, can you hear me? All right. So I guess she's having some connection issues. So to do her part, well, good evening, everyone. So thank you for joining this session on enhancing emotional intelligence through social emotional learning in the classroom. And today we'll be exploring how SEL can be a powerful tool to support students' emotional intelligence, improve their academic and social outcomes, and ultimately prepare them for successful future. Okay, so why focus on emotional intelligence? So what emotional intelligence or EI really means? So to start, let's talk about what's emotional intelligence. It's the ability to recognize, understand, manage, and use emotional positively. For our students, this means building empathy, managing stress, improving focus, and developing strong interpersonal skills. Um, the modern, well, the modern classroom is incredibly diverse, and students are facing challenges that require them to develop these skills early on. So, research consistently shows that students with higher EI tend to perform better academically, have stronger social relationships, and are more resilient. So, emotional intelligence does not just help students, it benefits teachers, classroom dynamics, and school culture as a whole. So, before I proceed, let's try. Well, I want to try sharing or posting a question for everyone. All right, in the Q&A box, or maybe I can also put it in the chat box so that everyone can share and answer. All right. So, what are the indicators or signs of an effective SEL program? Maybe anyone can share your thoughts in the chat box. All right. So, maybe later we're going to see some of your answers. So, what is social and emotional learning? So, SEL or social emotional learning is the process that enables students to develop these emotional and social skills in structured ways. SEL is not a single lesson, but rather an ongoing, integrated part of learning. It involves teaching students to manage their emotions, build positive relationships, and make responsible decisions. SEL can happen in many parts of the school today or day-to-day school, and it is guided by five core components which will be discussing. Okay, next. All right, let's go to the next slide. So, as we all know, there are five core components of SEL. First is the self awareness. So, for self awareness, this involves understanding one's own emotions, strengths, and weaknesses. Through self reflection exercises, students become more attuned to how they feel and why they feel that way. So, maybe in our classrooms, we try to make sure that our students know themselves, they are aware of their strengths and weaknesses, and at the same time, they are really aware of their feelings. Okay, so sometimes teachers really need to check on students what they're feeling and how they're doing, let's say at the beginning of the day. Okay, second is self-management. Once students are aware of their emotions, well, next step is learning to regulate them. All right, so techniques like mindfulness, goal setting, and stress management empower students to control impulses, focus on tasks, and handle challenges. Okay, third, social awareness. So, empathy and cultural awareness are essential in today's diverse classrooms. Social awareness activities help students appreciate different perspectives, which reduces bullying and fosters a respectful school environment. Okay, so not just they are aware of themselves, but they should be aware of their environment, their surroundings. How do they know their friends or their family? So things like that. Okay, or maybe let's give a few minutes for everyone to maybe share. Yes, good morning, Koichi. All right. So we are actually talking about the five components of SEL. So can anyone share, let's say, in what are the good, let's go back to the question earlier because I really wanted to see answers here. What are the indicators or signs of an effective SEL program? Maybe you can share your thoughts. Probably a few seconds or maybe a minute. All right. So according to Koichi, an effective social emotional learning program setting should foster self awareness, resilience, and empathy, supporting students' well being and academic success. Yes, of course, really need to do that and have those things. And key indicators include noticeable improvement in students' emotional regulation, positive peer interactions, and supportive, inclusive school climate. Yes, it is really important to have inclusivity in the classrooms because we all know that not everyone are the same. Well, students are different. They have different profiles. We have students who are, in the special program, and we have to make sure they are also included, well, in the mainstream in our classrooms. So basically, they are socially aware. Everyone is aware of things that is happening within the classroom. Next, we have relationship skills. So, this area includes communication, active listening, and conflict resolution. So, skills that are fundamental for students to build healthy relationships. These skills also strengthen classroom collaboration and create a positive social environment. So, yes, we were mentioning about inclusivity. So, we also go into relationships. We have to make sure as teachers we do not let bullying happen in certain ways, or it should never happen with anybody inside the classroom. So with SEL, we try to make sure that relationships are really, going well with our students each and every day, starting from the first period of the class until the time they go home, because really we don't want them to have troubles with each other and then you'll see them fighting, right? So that's for relationships. We have to build strong relationships between not just with students as well as with the parents, and then we connect with them and support. We plan to make things better for the students. So we build a community which has a very good relationship skills. Okay. Next is a responsible decision making. So here, students learn to make ethical and safe choices by considering the outcomes of their actions. This builds a foundation for critical thinking and accountability. So, aside from having good relationships, being aware of themselves, they should also be, responsible in making their decisions and in terms of their actions. So, if are they aware of what they have done? Is it good or bad? So they have to make ethical and safe choices. So are they going to cheat or not? So they have to weigh things, they have to know things that way and learn it in a way, in a positive way, in a positive environment. Okay, because there are certain skills or activities that we can do as teachers to help them enhance those skills so they can, when they grow up, they will be able to realize what are the good and the bad things, especially inside the classrooms. Okay. Now we have here evidence-based benefits of SEL on EI or emotional intelligence. So let's dive into the data that supports SEL as a driver of emotional intelligence in student success. So first, research findings. So there's a meta-analysis found that students who participate in SEL programs saw an 11% improvement in academic performance. So a significant reduction in behavioral problems and overall increased social behavior. This data underscores that SEL isn't just about soft skills, it directly, what you call that, supports academic success. Okay, so it's not just about being nice, being kind. So SEL really helps students in terms of focusing on what are their priorities, and deductions in well reductions in terms of behavioral problems and like bullying, something like that. Okay. Now for case studies, so in Chicago, for example, schools implementing SEL programs have seen emphasis or decrease in suspensions and expulsions and increases the test scores. So similarly, in Finland's emphasis on SEL and EI is associated with high levels of student well-being and academic achievement. So in some Asian countries like the Philippines, mindfulness is very evident in some schools with SEL programs. Now, from here, I would like to know: do you have existing? Well, what are your best practices based on your SEL program? What do you think are the things that are very evident in your schools? Maybe we can see some answers here. So, what are the best practices that you have, or maybe let's say one particular situation that made you realize that your SEL is really working? Maybe someone can share in the chat box. Let's give a few moments for you, few minutes. All right. I can see that my colleague is back. Um, she got disconnected. Yes.
Right.
Mylene, we were doing a slide 5, so about research findings and case studies. Let's try to proceed with implementing SEL in schools and classrooms. So maybe you can help me with this one.
Yes, of course.
All right, can I? Is it okay if I give the floor to you now? Don't
Yes,
worry, I'll be in
yes.
the back.
Okay. Implementing SEL in schools and classrooms. Embedding SEL in the curriculum. SEL can be integrated into existing subjects. For example, in language arts, students might analyze a character's emotion and motivations in a story. Group projects in social studies can be designed to encourage collaboration and perspective taking. By weaving SEL into regular lessons, we can ensure that it becomes a natural part of the school day.
All right.
Classroom.
Okay. For number one, embedding SEL in the classroom. So maybe some of you have tried doing this already, like integrating it in your subject areas, or maybe in the homeroom. If you're doing this in the homeroom and then providing a period every single day, it might be 90% might be a huge success, so that students will be able to acquire the skills or the 5 core skills that we need for SEL. All right, let's have classroom practices. Number two.
Daily practices like morning meetings create a structured time for students to share feelings, set daily goals, and practice self awareness. Journaling helps students express their thoughts, and tools like mood meters let students visually share how their feelings, which help teachers better understand and support their emotional state.
Okay. Now, for classroom practices, as teachers, every morning, I do this in my class and with the other programs that we are doing. Um, the meter mood really works for kids, especially for primary level, because they tend to enjoy choosing the icons. Let's say there are pictures there in a happy mood and in a bad mood, sleepy mood. So they enjoy doing things, choosing their mood for that day. And in that way, the teacher will be able to know how they feel for that morning. And at the same time, during homeroom, the teacher can make sure that she'll be able to adapt what the students are feeling on that day. Now let's have teacher training and professional development.
For SEL to work, teachers needs the right tools and understandings. Professional development workshops can provide teachers with classroom strategies for emotional regulation and help them manage their own stress. Studies show that when teachers practice SEL skills themselves, they're more effective in promoting these skills in students.
Now, for teacher training, usually schools do provide this, especially if they do have their SEL program. But I'm not sure if all schools do this, but I do hope that policymakers or school administrators will be um, giving time or let's say funding for this kind of professional development for teachers, because not all teachers can clearly identify or let's say gauge how our students are. Let's say in the morning, not everyone or not all teachers can really tell what a student is feeling on that day. So teachers tend not to they don't know how to adjust things Okay, and it's just everyone because SEL, let's say for example, SEL in the Philippines is not really that well known yet. So it's still struggling in a way that only the private schools are doing it. So maybe for public schools, the Department of Education will be able to do professional training and development about SEL, not just for the guidance counselors, but maybe for all of the teachers. Okay, let's have involving parents and the community.
Parents play a vital role in reinforcing SEL at home. School can offer workshops, send newsletters, or provide resources that help parents support SEL skills at home. Collaborating with community organizations that offer after school or mentoring programs can also expand SEL support for students.
All right. So, as the word says, involving parents and the community. So, let's involve the parents. All right, let's have our next slide.
Policy recommendation for systemic support. Establishing SEL standards. By including SEL competency in district and state standards, we set a framework for its consistent application. Schools that have a specific benchmark for SEL can more effectively measure its impact and make adjustments as needed. Investing in long-term SEL programs, funding SEL initiative is key to ensuring their sustainability. Grants and funding can support resources, training, and even pilot programs that show the value of SEL. When funding SEL, we're investing in a well-rounded future of our students.
All right, let's have the next slide. There you go.
Addressing challenges in SEL implementation. Despite the benefits, there are challenges in implementing SEL. Limited time. Many educators feel pressure to cover academic standards and may feel there's no room for SEL. But by integrating SEL into existing lessons, it becomes part of the curriculum rather than an additional task.
All right. So, all right. Again, so limited time. It's not. It doesn't. It's not. Doesn't fit everyone. So with a huge chunk of curriculum and having this and that, SEL is not yet still there. It's still there, ongoing. It's limited time for everyone to implement. Okay. Funding constraints.
Limited resources can be a barrier. However, by demonstrating the proven benefits of SEL through pilot programs or small scale implementation, we can attract funding and support for broader initiatives. While initial resistance, change can be challenging, especially if parents or staff are unfamiliar with SEL. However, sharing research, conducting information sessions, and gradually introducing SEL can build support and understanding.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the next part. So, interactive activity demonstration. So, these are just examples of the SEL activities that we can do in the classroom. So, first we have the feelings check in. This is the meter mood that we mentioned earlier. And then the other one is the mindfulness breathing. Okay. So, next slide, let's have some conclusion and call to action. So maybe in conclusion, today we explored the powerful impact of social and emotional learning on emotional intelligence and student success. So SEL isn't just about developing soft skills; it's a vital part of educating the whole child and preparing them for a successful future. So we encourage each one of you, whether you're an educator, policymaker, or administrator, to support well the integration of SEL in your schools. So by investing in ESL, we're shaping a generation of resilient, empathetic, and emotional intelligent students who are better prepared to navigate life's challenges. So thank you for your time and dedication to everyone. Well, let's enhance our students' SEL and emotional intelligences. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Dr. Jerica and Mylene Impang, for this wonderful session. It has really been impactful, and I can see on the chats you've been doing some interaction with them there, and we can see that social and emotional learning is actually something that we really need in the classroom, and just like as you have said, it has to do also from the parent aspect. They have a part to play also in this. So I want to say thank you so much. But before that, let's see if we have any question ready
Mhm.
for you in the chat.
Yeah, let's see if there are questions. And yes, it's really important to involve everyone, the families, the parents, community. All right, no questions, I guess.
Okay. So for now, no questions. So I'll say you really did a wonderful job. Thank you so much for the time. So
Yeah, thank you very much.